Welcome to People. I'm Shirley Lin. Now with me in the studio today is Phil Tchernegovski, all the way from New Zealand. First time he was in Taiwan was about 12 years ago when his son Ruben was here at the time, but went missing while he was hiking in Ali Mountains. And then Phil came looking for his son a total of 6 times on different trips to Taiwan. But I'm sad to say that Phil never found his beloved son. Instead, he found comfort listening to Jody Chiang's songs. Jody Chiang, okay, Jiang Hui. Now, Jody is the most popular Taiwanese pop female singer to date. The first time he heard her song was in a cab. And the cab driver told him that, hey, this is Taiwan #1, and then gave him the CD. Ever since then, Phil has fallen in love with Jody Chiang, with her music. And he has found a lot of comfort and enjoyment listening to her music. Phil says that every Sunday is his day for sculpting. And without fail, he will always listen to Jody's music while he sculpts, so to give him inspiration. Well, let us meet Phil. Phil, it is so good to have you here finally and meeting you in person.
Thank you, Shirley, and thank you for your invitation.
You're welcome. All right, so, well, now, why is Phil here today? That is because Jody Chiang just had some live concerts in Taipei, and she's also had some concerts down south. And when Jody heard about Phil's story, she invited him personally to come to her concert. And that is why Phil is here today. So what did you think about the concert, Phil?
Well, she was captivating, enthralling, and in fact, a flawless and perfect performance, but it was so touching and tender, and it's to describe Jiang Hui is beyond my words.
I can see that.
Yeah. She transcends all languages and cultures with her music. For people to understand, relating to that would be like people sort of listening to gypsy kings. You don't need to understand the language to actually feel the emotion that's coming out of her music.
That is amazing. You didn't know a word of Chinese, and yet the first time, what was it about that first song that you heard? I believe it was Ba Bua Zui, Bua Qing Qing. You know, that Taiwanese song. It's talking about half drunk, half awake. What was it about that song that really moved you?
Probably exactly what you said. I probably related to that feeling, that emotional sadness when I heard it, and it gave me great comfort. I actually heard the music the first time, for the first time going up to Mount Alisan. And on my way going up the winding road, it was, and the mist started coming down, and it was like the sky falling on top of me, and I was in great grief, and it was like, and I was in a foreign country. The culture was different, and there was a nice policeman alongside of me, and Larry Lai, and he actually realised what was happening to me. And he actually turned the radio on in the police car, and he told me that this was Taiwan's one of my most favourite singers, and that she sung the mother tongue of Taiwanese, not like the other Chinese dialects, Mandarin. Yeah. And from that moment of hearing her voice, the sweetness of her voice, and it was just like a flow, a beautiful river flow of words. It was effortless. I felt great comfort within it, and still do. I find I get inspired with my art listening to it. It's that beautiful.
You know, it's a good thing that you're an artist, because you have a way with describing about Jody's music, not like other people do, you know. So I know that you're into sculpting. And how did you get started in this hobby? Or is it something you studied when you were young or something?
No, many years ago when I was a few years younger, I was concreting a driveway, and a man gave me a piece of clay, and from that I made a face of this person I knew, and a Maori friend of mine put it in an international pottery exhibition in Auckland, New Zealand.
Just like that.
And
Your
it got
very first-
accepted.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Your very
I was
first
sort of
piece of art. And
very
got
first piece
exhibited?
of art. So maybe it was the technique in which I fired it might have enthralled the judge, because no one could fire it in their kilns because they were all trying to get in the same sculptural exhibition. So it was suggested to me to fire it up in sawdust shavings and a rubbish bin, which I did do, and it ended up with these beautiful colours, natural earthy colours. So
All right. And then I hear that ever since then, every Sunday is your sculpting day, and you would have to listen to Jody's music. How does she give you inspiration for your art pieces?
well, just by turning on the music, and just that it's like an emotional trigger. Okay, best way of describing it to most people, it's like remote control. I just press the remote control within my spiritualness and creativity, and I press it on go and fast forward, and I go for it. My hands move, and it inspires.
Is it the different songs that you listen to that gives you inspiration for what you're making today? Maybe you're going to make a bird today, but then you're going to make a still piece of thing today, or how does it work with you, like mind of an artist?
No, that's a very good question. I might ask myself that now. My response normally is just by pulling, like I've got about 10 of her CDs and DVDs. So I just pull out one spontaneously and put it in.
She has like a total of 50 albums already, and you've got 10 of
10,
those.
yes.
I thought you've got all. Well, slowly you're going to collect all of them, I'm sure.
I'm working on it.
So what was it like meeting Jody in person?
Well, that was something unbelievable. She is a very small little woman, but on stage, she creates such a big presence, and she captivates everyone, and you can't help but being absorbed by her. And when you meet her in person, you meet this sweet, tender, caring person. I just was very taken back by it. In fact, I sort of said, you know, you're so small, and how comes your voice is so powerful? And she told me her voice comes from her stomach.
The diaphragm.
The diaphragm. But for me, the added bit was there is a filter system. It goes through her heart before it flows out. Oh. Yeah.
Wow. I know that she sang that particular song, 挂嘴挂亲亲, dedicated to you at the concert. How did you feel then?
Well, I was trying to hold back the tears.
I'm sure.
And that's with not necessarily with sorrow and grief. Okay. Maybe a little bit of that, but it's sort of like a mixture of beautiful feelings, so inspiring to listen to. I actually felt the extra edge when she sang it to me. The extra edge, I felt it directly going within me, yeah.
Wow. And at the time, all the cameras were probably on you, and Jody was probably in tears too, kind of moved.
I try to relay a message to her about that about being strong about her singing, you know. I think that she was really moved.
Yeah.
And I could tell afterwards she was moved. Our meeting was a very moving experience. Her hug was extremely warm and genuine and very loving. She's an amazing woman.